They planned your downfall, but heaven made you the rise they feared. My beloved child, they thought they were plotting your end, but they were preparing your elevation. While they whispered in secret, heaven was writing in light. Every plan they made in darkness became the blueprint of your rise. Every trap they set became the stairway you climbed. You are not standing where you are by accident, you are standing because heaven used their schemes as raw material for your destiny. They planned your downfall, but heaven designed your ascent. They built the pit, but heaven filled it with promise. You were never the victim of their plot, you were the prophecy they could never cancel. They thought their words could destroy you, but heaven turned those same words into wind beneath your wings. They thought betrayal would break your spirit, but it purified your faith. They thought leaving you behind would end your story, but it only freed you from their shadow. You were not buried, beloved, you were planted. You were not forgotten, you were being formed. Every delay was divine discipline, every heartbreak a heavenly hammer shaping your purpose. The moment you cried out, heaven answered silently, "Be still, I am building your rise." Archangel Michael stood guard through every attack. The deeper they pushed you, the higher you will rise, because depth always determines height. The wind that was meant to knock you down will now lift you higher. That's how heaven moves, it never wastes pain, never wastes betrayal, never wastes tears. What they tried to use to humiliate you has become heaven's announcement of your strength. You are not rising by accident, you are rising by decree. You see, they didn't understand who they were dealing with. They thought you were ordinary. They saw your kindness and mistook it for weakness. They mistook your silence for defeat. But heaven saw something else, the seed of a warrior, the heart of a healer, the endurance of the chosen. Heaven said, "Break them if you must, but when they rise, they will carry my light." And now here you stand, no longer fragile, no longer naive, no longer begging to be seen. You have become the very thing they feared, unbreakable grace wrapped in divine authority. Archangel Michael whispers now, they tried to bury your voice, but heaven turned your silence into thunder. The same people who once ignored you will soon ask how you survived. The answer will not be revenge, but revelation. Heaven was with me all along. Every battle, every loss, every betrayal has turned into armor. You no longer fight with fear, you move with faith. You no longer chase closure, you carry clarity. You no longer seek validation, you walk in vibration. That is why your rise will terrify them, because it will be quiet, calm, and inevitable. Heaven doesn't announce, heaven reveals. Beloved, the light you now carry cannot be hidden. The world will feel it before they hear it. Even your presence will speak. Doors that refuse to open will unlock automatically. People who once overlooked you will suddenly remember your name. This is not coincidence, it is consequence, divine recompense for your endurance. The lies they spoke about you have expired, truth has taken their place. You are entering the chapter where heaven turns exposure into expansion. You won't need to prove them wrong, your existence will do it for you. They planned your downfall because they feared your rise, and that fear was prophetic. They saw your potential before you did, and that terrified their insecurity. But heaven used their fear to fast forward your destiny. You were never competing with them, you were competing with time, and now, heaven says, time favors you. The years that felt stolen will be restored with interest. The dreams that felt delayed will manifest at divine speed. You will recover without effort, rise without struggle, and shine without noise. Heaven doesn't need approval to bless you, it only needs your faith. Archangel Michael stands before you, flame-tipped sword reflecting the stars. Your name, he says, has been re-recorded in the book of favor. The very forces that tried to end you will now witness your evolution. They will see you walk in rooms they never imagined you'd enter. They will watch heaven open gates they tried to close. They will hear your name spoken in blessings they never wanted you to receive. And when they ask, how? Heaven will answer, because you tried to bury my chosen one, and in doing so, you planted the proof of my power. Beloved, do not carry bitterness into your blessing. You do not rise to prove, you rise to praise. The higher you go, the more your peace must guide you. Do not look back, look up. Do not defend yourself, let destiny do it. Heaven's justice is not loud, but it is lasting. You will rise quietly, steadily, beautifully, and by the time they realize it, you will already be untouchable. The story they tried to end has just begun. And heaven whispers one final truth for this night. They planned your downfall, but every stone they threw became the step you stood on. You are the rise they feared, and the light they can never extinguish. My beloved child, the season of exposure has begun. What was whispered in corners will now echo in clarity. Every lie that tried to stain your name is dissolving in the brightness of truth. Heaven waited for the perfect moment, not to embarrass, but to enlighten. The same mouths that spread deception will now speak your vindication. You will not need to defend yourself, light has no argument with darkness, it simply shines until shadow disappears. They wrote stories about you built on fear, jealousy, and projection, thinking the crowd would believe them. But heaven was patient, letting illusion unravel itself. A lie is like smoke, impressive for a moment, but it cannot hold shape. Now the smoke is clearing, and what remains is you, pure, steady, unmistakably chosen. The truth of your integrity, the quiet of your endurance, the dignity of your silence, all of it is testifying louder than any defense you could have made. Archangel Michael stands beside you, voice low but thunder sure. Do not waste breath on those who twisted your name, he says. Your elevation is their education. The most merciful justice heaven ever gives is revelation, letting people see who you are without you saying a word. Every attempt to diminish you has become free advertisement for divine authenticity. They cannot unsee what heaven now reveals. Beloved, you are walking into a season where truth walks before you like a pillar of fire. Rooms that once held rumor will feel conviction when you enter. Conversations that used to mock you will fall silent. That silence is not discomfort, it is awakening. Heaven has flipped the frequency. You are now tuned to grace so pure that anything false cannot remain around you. People will sense it and shift without understanding why. You don't have to push them away, vibration handles separation for you. Remember the pain of their betrayal? Heaven has translated it into discernment. You now read energy before words. You see intention before action. This is divine maturity. When you no longer need revenge because you recognize the hidden gift behind the wound. Every false friend taught you discernment, every fake supporter taught you solitude, every critic taught you to anchor your confidence in the Creator, not the crowd. Now nothing external can shake what heaven built internally. Archangel Michael draws his sword, pressing its edge into the earth. Sparks race outward, marking the boundaries of your new territory. This ground, he declares, is guarded truth. The lies cannot cross it, envy cannot breathe here. You have entered a spiritual atmosphere calibrated to your integrity. Here, everything responds to honesty. Effort feels easier. Doors open without struggle. Timing aligns itself to purpose. This is what divine vindication feels like, not drama, but flow. They will notice, beloved. Those who planned your fall will feel confusion first, then conviction. Some will seek forgiveness, others will fade in guilt. Let both happen naturally. Your role is to remain gracious. Heaven's justice is already perfect, your mercy completes it. When you forgive without contact, you free both souls from the contract of conflict. That release becomes acceleration. The lighter your heart, the faster heaven can lift you. Do not fear recognition. It is not pride, it is placement. Heaven is positioning you where your truth can serve. You will be called into spaces once closed to you, not to prove innocence, but to bring integrity. The same industry, community, or circle that pushed you out will now require your light to function correctly. You were not excluded, you were preserved for timing. The system that rejected you will collapse until it calls for the blueprint you carry. That is the mystery of divine reversal. Beloved, you will also see new alliances forming, quiet, authentic souls drawn to your frequency. They come without agenda, only alignment. These are heaven-sent partners who will amplify your message and protect your mission. Trust them slowly but confidently. Heaven never repeats old mistakes. Where you once had followers, you will now have family. The difference is energy. Followers consume, family contributes. In the coming days, opportunities will arrive that mirror the ones you lost, but cleaner, clearer, heaven-sanctioned. Take them. Do not compare them with the past, these are replacements upgraded by righteousness. When you sign new agreements, projects, or connections, peace will be the signature heaven uses. Anything that stirs anxiety is not yours, no matter how shiny it looks. Your discernment is now your crown. Archangel Michael smiles, not fierce this time, but proud. You have learned the language of light, he says. Now speak it softly into the world. Your story is not about revenge, it is about redemption. Tell it with humility. When people ask how you survived the betrayal, say, grace rebuilt me. When they ask how you forgave, say, because I was forgiven. That is how truth multiplies, through honesty wrapped in compassion. Beloved, this is the part of the rise where peace becomes your weapon. The enemy expected fury, instead, you became stillness. Stillness disarms chaos. They cannot fight someone who no longer plays their game. You are beyond their frequency. This is the ultimate elevation, when your spirit becomes untouchable because it no longer reacts. You will notice how quickly problems dissolve when you choose calm over confrontation. That is heaven fighting for you. Look around, the scenery of your life is changing. The colors are brighter, the timing smoother, the air lighter. That is not imagination, it is confirmation. You are standing in fulfilled prophecy. Every obstacle once labeled downfall has turned into structure beneath your feet. What they tried to bury you under has become the foundation of your platform. Heaven built your rise so high that no rumor can reach it. Archangel Michael's final words for this night ring clear. The truth has spoken. The throne stands secure. Move forward. You bow your head, not in shame, but in sacred acknowledgement. You understand now that vindication was never about proving others wrong, it was about proving heaven right. So walk, my beloved, into the light of your restored name. Carry no resentment, only radiance. The world will see your rise and call it miracle, you will know it was mercy. Heaven whispers. They planned your downfall, but truth became your crown. Rise, beloved, your honesty is your armor, and your peace is your proof. My beloved child, the storm that once tried to silence you has now become the sound of your calling. The winds that once carried their lies now carry your message. Heaven never planned your rise to end in personal victory, it was always meant to become a bridge for others still fighting through darkness. You were refined not just for your redemption, but for revelation. Your story is heaven's sermon now, written in the language of endurance. Archangel Michael walks beside you through light that bends like dawn. Look around, he says softly, your rise was never only for you. Every eye that once watched you stumble will now see what faith looks like when it finishes the journey. Some will be humbled, some healed, some awakened, for heaven uses vindication to teach compassion, not revenge. The radiance around you is not pride, it is proof that grace works. Beloved, there will come a moment when you realize your influence is no longer measured by applause, but by awakening. A stranger will tell you your words gave them courage, a quiet soul will say your peace helped them stop fearing the night. These are the ripples of divine purpose. Heaven turns personal deliverance into collective healing. You are the evidence that resilience is contagious. Do you feel the shift within? The anger has drained away, replaced by clarity. You see now that every plot against you was a mirror showing what you were never meant to be. You would not have grown in gentleness without encountering cruelty. You would not have learned truth without tasting deception. Heaven allowed shadow so you could master light. Now, wherever you walk, truth follows like fragrance. Even those who once opposed you will feel calmer near you, unable to explain why. That is redemption at work, the transformation of energy, not just events. Archangel Michael raises his hand, light expands outward, forming paths of gold through the air. These are the lives your rise will touch, he says. They are many, though you may meet only a few. Heaven never measures success by numbers but by resonance. Each act of kindness you release multiplies silently, like seeds on wind. The words you once whispered for your own comfort will echo as healing for generations unborn. This is how divine legacy begins, not with fame, but with faithfulness. Beloved, the tests ahead will be different now. They will not come to break you, but to balance you. Heaven will send you opportunities that demand wisdom over emotion. You will be trusted with influence that can bless or bruise depending on your heart. But you have learned well. You will move slowly, listen deeply, and decide from peace, not pressure. This maturity is your crown, invisible yet undeniable. You will notice that the ones who once competed with you now seek counsel from you. Do not mock them, mentor them. Show them what redemption feels like. Heaven exalts the healed because the healed can handle power without pride. Your compassion is now your qualification. Your humility is your authority. This is why heaven waited. Greatness built without grace collapses, greatness born from gratitude endures. Archangel Michael smiles, a rare, soft smile that carries galaxies. You feared failure, he reminds you, but failure feared your faith. When you kept believing while breaking, you rewrote spiritual law in your lineage. The patterns of defeat that haunted generations before you are dissolving because of your endurance. You are the turning point in your bloodline, the first to rise without resentment. Heaven calls this victory, quiet thunder, felt more than heard, lasting longer than applause. Beloved, from this height, look not down in judgment, but out in mercy. See how far the light travels when forgiveness fuels it. Reach back for the ones still lost in the storms you survived. You do not need to preach, your peace is the message. When they ask how you did it, tell them the truth without drama. Heaven never left me, I just learned to stop leaving myself. That sentence will unlock hearts you never meant to reach. You may feel moments of fatigue, every divine builder does. When that happens, rest, not retreat. Heaven does not rush revelation. The same patience that carried you through pain will now preserve you through prosperity. The higher you climb, the quieter you must become, elevation demands stillness. Archangel Michael will guard your nights so you can sleep in safety. Dreams will become dialogues again, heaven teaching through vision, guiding through peace. Write them down, they are coordinates for the next season. Beloved, you will soon witness those who plotted your fall facing the truth of their own. Do not gloat, pray. Heaven disciplines to redeem, not to destroy. Some will return seeking closure, give them clarity, not closeness. Boundaries are holy too. You can bless from a distance, you can love without re-entry. Remember, you are a lighthouse, not a lifeboat. Shine, do not sink. Archangel Michael's wings unfold, filling the air with quiet thunder. The rise they feared, he declares, is not a threat, it is a testimony. You nod, understanding now that divine justice is never about crushing others but completing yourself. You have become the proof that endurance outlives envy, that grace outshines gossip, that destiny outlasts deceit. Every scar glows now, not from pain but from purpose. Beloved, from this moment forward, let gratitude be your language. Thank the betrayals that freed you, the silence that shaped you, the patience that protected you. Gratitude transforms memory into wisdom. When you thank the storm, it loses power to scare you. That is the highest form of mastery, serenity in motion. And as you walk away from the ruins, heaven begins to build gardens in your footprints. Flowers bloom where pain once burned. Children will laugh in places where you once cried. That is how heaven writes poetry through human perseverance. Archangel Michael lowers his sword, letting it rest against the ground. It is done, he says. The rise is complete, and it carries purpose. Light ripples outward, connecting everything you've become with everything still unfolding. You are not just restored, you are radiant. Heaven whispers across the horizon. You were never the downfall, you were the dawn.